As a coach, one of the things I hear most often from clients and from friends and other people are, why is it so hard to change? And we're going to talk about that tonight. And think about it. If it were easy to change, we'd all be enlightened beings living our best lives, and it would be super simple. And it's not. We talk a lot about the unconscious mind on this program. And as you can guess, it's involved, of course. I recently heard this guy who is NLP certified, neuro linguistic programming. And I've studied NLP for, I don't know, 20 years or so. And it's really amazing in a lot of ways. And I want to talk about what you can actually do to affect change, to make it easier for you, or at least more sustainable. So I'm going to share my screen, which I don't do very often, but I'm going to today. So in NLP, there's this thing called logical levels of change. And if you start at the bottom, and this is what most people do. Think about New Year's resolutions. A lot of people will start at the bottom of this little pyramid. And say you want to release weight. I never say lose weight because we don't want to find it. If we want to get rid of it, we want to release it with love. So a lot of people will start at their level of environment. And what does that mean? That means that they put less fattening food or junk food in their environment. That means they buy things like running shoes or workout clothes, things like that. Those are environmental factors that are going to hopefully trigger different things. So then we go to capabilities. Do you have the ability to eat well and to exercise? Well, everybody has different levels of that. Maybe you need to develop some skills. Maybe you get to take a nutrition class or hire a dietitian or hire a trainer if it's the exercise part that you're working on. And then they go to behaviors. Am I doing the things? Am I going to the gym so many times a week or exercising in general? Am I eating well or am I eating junk food? And they really are focused on those behaviors, thinking that is what's going to drive their results. And this is true for anything at all that you're wishing to change. We think that our behaviors are going to produce results, and they will, but it's difficult to sustain it. It's using things like willpower, which is so energy sucking. I mean, it drains your energy to use willpower. Then we go another layer deeper to beliefs and values. And this is a really big thing that a lot of people don't know what they believe. And if you really want to know what you believe, you can. I'm going to stop sharing. If you really want to know what you believe and what you value, you can look around at your life. You can look at your relationships. You can look at your home. You can look at your body, your health, your career, your bank account. And this is this kind of sucks for a lot of us, at least in one area, right? We all have at least one area we're working on, or else we don't need to be here on this physical plane anymore. If we're already like enlightened, then congratulations, move on. You don't need to watch this. But most of us have beliefs and values that are unconscious. And I've recently been doing these exercises with my coach, and she says, well, if you want to know what you believe, look at your results, look at your bank account, look at your body, your health, your relationships, look at all those things, and that will tell you what you subconsciously believe. And a lot of times it's what you believe is possible for you, or what you believe you're worthy of, or what you believe you deserve. There's so many factors involved in this, and we're not going to hammer it. I'm not going to hammer it because we're going to move on to a different level. But this is an exercise that you can do least to get a baseline, like what must I believe? Or if you want to take yourself out of it, what must a person believe whose bank account is this? What must a person believe whose health is this? And sometimes it's easier to get there that way if you depersonalize it. I'm going to go back to my little chart here. Where it is easiest to affect change is the identity level. And your results, what you're living based on your beliefs and your values, determines what you believe about yourself, what you identify as. Like, I identify as a single mom, I identify as an entrepreneur, I identify as a speaker and a coach, and I identify as a healthy person because that's one of my top values. And there are some other things I'm working on. I also, I don't want to admit this, but I'm going to. I identify as somebody who has a hard time being in a romantic relationship. I have a hard time attracting the person that really is in alignment with me, or at least who I think I am, right? That's probably the case. So there are those things that are driving my results, whether I like those results or not. It's a whole different story. And then at the very top, you have spirituality, connectedness, consciousness. And this is the part where you forget who you are. You become one with source. You are an intuitive being. You are getting downloads constantly when you get to that level. And you forget who you are. You forget that you have a body. You forget that you have an identity. You forget that there's time. You forget there's an environment. It's a very cool state to be in. And that's what Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches. And that's what I've been practicing. And every now and then I get there, which is super cool. So the way that we've been approaching change has been bottom up. And it's backward. It's backward. So what I'm suggesting is to flip it. Flip it. And it's not that easy for most of us to start at that top part, the spirituality, connectedness, consciousness part. Where it is easiest to affect change is at the identity level. Identity is so important. And when you can shift who you are being, who you identify as, and make choices as the person that has the identity that you really want, when you can make choices from that place, then you're cooking with gas. So there's some questions that you can ask yourself to really get clear. So if you think about the version of you, and I'm going to back up just a little bit. If you look at quantum physics, there is a theory called multiple universes. And that is that at any given moment, there are an infinite number of versions of you and an infinite number of timelines. And you don't have to believe this, but why not play with it? I mean, if you're tired of what you have and you're ready for something different, then play with this idea. I love this so much because it's fun. So there is a version of you right now that is all the characteristics that you really want to be. She or he has everything that you want to have. Everything, like material possessions, characteristics, everything. And that person behaves in a certain way, the way that you wish you behaved. That person also feels certain emotions. What does he or she feel? So I'm going to get you some questions here to ask yourself to get to that point. And these come from Jim Fortin. Maybe you're familiar with him. He does a lot about subconscious mind reprogramming. And it is, who would I be? What would I do? And how would I feel if I already blank? So who would I be? Which are the characteristics. Like, I would be committed. I would be passionate. I would be courageous. I would be in integrity with my word, whatever those things are. And I was listening to a podcast with Jim Fortin today, and he was talking about things that, you know, those of us that have been in transformational leadership work, we know all about commitment. Like if you make a commitment to do something, you do it no matter what. That's commitment. And you are striving for excellence, not perfection. Perfection is elusive. We all know that. When we have this standard of perfection, you can't reach it. It's impossible. So you're always failing. So excellence is I do what I say I'm going to do. If I don't, if I fall short, I clean it up. And let me show you what that looks like, because I had no idea before I did transformational leadership work. So I have a commitment, either let's say to somebody else. Okay, I'm going to be at your house at 7 p.m. for whatever. I'm going to be there at 7 p.m. If I know in advance I'm not going to make it, I'm going to be late, I am renegotiating. I'm going to say, something came up or whatever. I'm going to tell the truth, but I'm going to be kind about it, right? So something came up and I'm not going to be there on time. I expect to be there at 7:15. So you're saying that. You're not apologizing for yourself. That's a whole different episode. But you're cleaning it up. You're renegotiating. Renegotiating, not cleaning it up. If you can't access your phone and there's an accident or something and it would be dangerous for you to text that person, then please don't. So you get to clean it up. You get to say, I acknowledge that I said I would be there at 7 and I am arriving at 7:15. And you acknowledge your breakdown. And the breakdown is in your integrity. And you also go further and say that, like, how do you think that makes that person feel? And you can say some things like, that was unfair to you. I could have planned better. I could have given myself more time and I didn't, and that was unfair to you. You know, just something, just to clean it up. That way, your subconscious mind is like, oh, she is responsible. She is in integrity with her word. Because the moment you break your word, either to yourself or someone else, and you don't clean it up, you don't acknowledge the breakdown and acknowledge, you might even say something like, that was irresponsible of me. Like, what characteristics? Were you being selfish? Were you being lazy? Were you being, what were you doing before that led to the breakdown? Even if it was traffic, you get to be responsible for it because you broke your word. So when you're not in integrity with your word, your subconscious mind is just waiting. It's waiting with the clipboard. And the next time you make an agreement, it's like, you're not going to do it. Remember last time you broke your word? And it is the quickest way to degrade or to increase your trust in yourself and your self-confidence is keeping your word. So if you don't keep your word, like it's out, it's down the toilet, essentially. So it's really important. So when you start looking at the identity of the version of you that already exists, how does that person be? How does she be? I know that's not grammatically correct, but I like it anyway. Like, what characteristics does she have? What does she do? Like, how does she take action? Is she chaotic? Is she crazy? Or does she wait for downloads and then act on them? Not just like close her journal and say, oh, thank you, and go about her day doing whatever she was doing before. Does she take inspired action? And how does she feel? And then for me, a big part is does she contribute to the world? Is she contributing her gifts? Is she living her dharma? Because that's really, for me, that's one of my highest values is contribution. And that helps me so much with my worth to feel like I'm worthy. Like if I'm contributing, I'm like, yes, I made a difference today. And not that I need it to feel worthy, that I deserve to be here, but it still supports me. Where I am right now, that still supports me. So I am suggesting that you flip this. So once you get the identity piece, who are you being? What characteristics are you exhibiting? How do you feel? What do you do? How are you contributing? From there, you will most likely be more spiritually connected. And then you're going to develop new beliefs and values. What does this person believe, this version of you that is, does, and has everything that you want? What does this person believe? What does she value? How does she behave? What type of inspired action does she take or he take? And then what capabilities, what skills has she developed over the years? And what type of environment is he or she living in? So those are really important things, but they're a byproduct of your identity. So if you focus only on the identity, you can really affect change really super quickly. How fun is that? So I hope that supports you. What do you really want? Who do you want to be? And as you do this more, it's really fun. I encourage you to make a list and do it every day if you want to, but wouldn't it be fun if? I just did this yesterday and I was having a blast. I'm working on manifesting certain things in my life, and instead of having like, I need this or I'm lacking something, I had the I want you, but I don't need you energy. Wouldn't it be fun if? Wouldn't it be fun if I had a beach house on the Caribbean? Wouldn't it be fun if I traveled the world and spoke and taught and coached? And wouldn't it be fun if I got to go to more Dr. Joe retreats? And wouldn't it be fun? So play with it, have fun. I love this so much, and it's all energy. So think about the energy of your new being. How do you be? And every single day, at least in the morning and before you go to bed, do a little check in with yourself. Like, okay, who do I choose to be today? And check in, like, close your eyes, get clear, or do some writing. Like, how does this version of me, and maybe name him or her, like Karen 3.0. I don't know. I've had so many iterations. Who knows what number it'd be? Karen 87, maybe 3.14. We could do like a math nerd version. I like it. Karen 3.14. But then I'll probably subconsciously want pi. Oh, that's funny to me. So, how does she behave? Who is she being today? What is she doing? How is she feeling? And if you check in with that every single day and then create your wouldn't it be fun if? Like, wouldn't it be fun if I got a check in the mail today for $1,000 just out of the blue? Yeah, that would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if I heard from an old friend from high school? Yeah, that'd be amazing. And then at night, check in, because you're also priming your subconscious mind. This is who I am being. So when I'm being this way, when I'm feeling this way, when I'm doing these things, let me know. And then it also will bring into your awareness other people that are being, doing, and having the same things. And there are these mirror neurons in our brains that will create, and anything we see in someone else, it's really a reflection of us. Whether we like it or not is a whole nother story. So when you are trying to create a new behavior or a new identity, find people that are already living that and study them. Watch who they're being, watch what they're doing, watch how they're feeling, watch how they handle difficult situations. Because if they can do it, you can do it. Because you cannot see anything outside of yourself. So And it goes both ways. So a lot of people know about projection. They think it's only negative things, but it's not. Yeah. The when you see negative things in other people, that shows you what's left to heal in you. It's a gift. When you see something negative, instead of saying, oh crap, there I go judging or being negative, it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for showing me what's ready to be healed. And if you can bring those pieces back in, those things, those qualities in you that you think are just unlovable or bleh, you don't want them, you try to put them out here. When you can bring those back in and even find the gifts of them, you are on the freight train to change, because that's the quickest way to do it. So look for that. And then also look for the qualities you admire in other people, because you have those too, in equal amount. It's just we're not used to looking at it that way. We're used to having a negativity bias for survival. That's how our brains are wired. So when you can look at other people and say, oh my gosh, she's so confident, she's so passionate, she's so generous, whatever it is, you also are that, because you are everything. You are amazing, and you are on your perfect path. So I really hope this supported you. If you like this video, please share it, please like it, and please subscribe. This is Irresistible You. I'm Karen Seltz. I forgot to tell you who I am or what the show is. Irresistible You, ignite your passion and purpose. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you right here next week. Mwah! Bye.